Now, people with epilepsy and their families suffer from stigma and discrimination, making it hard for them to get the treatment they need. Yet, according to the World Health Organization, epilepsy is the most common chronic brain disease and affects people of all ages. The following report highlights the burden of epilepsy in Kenya and the challenges patients and their families face while seeking treatment. Have a look. 35-year-old Alice Nyambura is here at this epileptic clinic based in Nairobi to be given medication to help control seizures she occasionally experiences uncontrollably.
After high school, I was doing some house chores in the house. I was washing. Actually, I stepped on a soap. I slipped. I was washing my bedroom. And then I fell on my bed. I hit my head. And from there was a cut. It started bleeding. A lot of blood. So from there I was rushed to the hospital. Because of losing much blood, they thought it was a big cut, but it was a small cut. I got treatment and I went back home. Little did I know that it was deep. It has entered, it has gotten into the brain. With time, this thing started off like I fainted. But I thought maybe because of fatigue or being exhausted. But with the time, this thing keep on occurring. After a week, it can come. After 2 days, after 3 days.
Epilepsy is basically defined as an occurrence of 2 or more seizures 24 hours apart in a span of 1 year. So basically the reason why there are a lot of challenges about epilepsy is the myths and the misconceptions about epilepsy out there. People still believe that epilepsy is all about witchcraft, it's all about demons and all the many myths that are used to define epilepsy, which is not the case.
Her family was forced to seek urgent medical attention after she began experiencing frequent seizures.
My mom was introduced to Kawe by a friend who they opened their clinic. They have a clinic at Karen. That time they took me there, and from the way my mom explained to them everything, so they found that I was epileptic. From the injury, so it was head injury that caused all of this.
The causes of epilepsy are many, and they range from a very wide variety of things. First, we have head injury. Secondly, we have things like birth traumas, the injuries that you get during the process of being born, the delivery process. We also have pregnancy issues. You had issues when you were pregnant. We also have post-pregnancy issues. These are things like someone who might have infections like meningitis, cerebral malaria. This might expose you to getting epilepsy.
Alice was in her 20s when she was diagnosed with a neurological disorder.
Every time maybe I'll get tired or I didn't get enough sleep, I feel the jerk. Just will come. When I'm holding something, I'll jerk. Whatever I'm holding, it will fall down.
You might be sitting with a person, then he just blinks continuously. You might be sitting with a person, then some part of the body starts moving uncontrollably. That mostly is on the focal aspect. The generalized types of seizures are now divided into 5. The 5, now there's one that one just stares, the blank stares. There's one that one stiffens without jerking. There's one that one just jerks without stiffening. Then there is one, the other one, the one just falls flatly on the ground. It looks like he's sleeping.
People with epilepsy and their families frequently suffer from stigma and discrimination, and Alice was not an exception.
It affected my friendship. I just wanted to be by myself. I didn't want to travel. I didn't want to associate with any person. I was just to be an introvert. So most of the time I stayed by myself or with my sister, who she understood me a lot, and even my mom. Those were the people who were close to me. So were the people I was spending most of my time with. One thing, I was afraid of attack, and then another thing, I was ashamed. What if it happens when I'm having friends? or when I'm going somewhere, or when I'm traveling, maybe I got into an accident. You see, I was afraid of those things, accident, attacks.
In many parts of the world, the true nature of epilepsy has also long been distorted by myths, fear, and mistaken notions about the disorder. Alice was forced to stay indoors, scared of getting an attack in unfamiliar places.
They will run away. They will leave me. Another thing, I'll get into an accident. I'll die even before my days. You see, I was afraid of, I was so like my future has ended. Because this thing you can't predict, anything can happen. I was afraid to say that I was epileptic. So after maybe taking to know someone, with time kidogo, I said, maybe nitamguzia, nimwambie na ukapata mtu kwa hivyo. Unajua utajisema ni wewe. You won't say it is you, but you're giving example by another person. And if you find a girl who is epileptic, will you still go on with an and this time when they say no, and then you know, unaacha.
Treatment can help most people with epilepsy have fewer seizures or stop having seizures completely.
I can say that I'm now epileptic. I'm healed, actually I'm healed. But actually I have to go and take medication until the doctor tells me to stop. So sometimes when I see people here getting discouraged, I feel so bad that I give them encouragement and hope, letting them, even I try to tell them I am that person. But they get to like, no, you can't be. You can't be, this can be. I tell them I am one of them. And if you want, I can go and remove my file and I can bring it to you.
Once you come to our facilities, we will take your history. We will do all the physical exams. We will check on all your aspects and we will categorize your seizures as per the type. After categorizing them with the type that is required, now is when we decide on which type of medication we give you. After giving you that medication, we will put you on follow-up, observing how the seizures are behaving with time. If you get out of the seizures for, let's say, about 2 to 3 years, now we start tapering down our medication. Tapering down means that we start reducing our doses slowly, till we get to the level known as the 0 dose, where now you are no longer taking the medication.
According to the World Health Organization, epilepsy accounts for a significant proportion of the world's disease burden, affecting around 50 million people worldwide, making it one of the most common neurological diseases globally.
When a person is having a seizure, the first thing that you should do is keep calm, maintain your composure. Because the moment you are calm, you'll think. And the moment you panic, you will not think. That is how people now start running away. The second thing is ensure that the environment that that person is clear. And there are no things that can injure this person. Yeah, so clear the area, make sure that the environment is safe. Then when this person lands, support the head. Support the head with something like a clothing. If you're near a pillow, you can use a pillow. If you're not anywhere near something like a pillow, use what the patient is wearing, like a jacket, to just help to support that head, yeah, so that it does not hit the ground or it does not hit a hard surface. The next thing you do is you unbutton the tight clothing. Yeah, if he's wearing a tie, loosen it. If the buttons are tied up to the top, open it up. If he's wearing a belt, loosen that belt. So then the next thing, when this guy is now actively jerking, don't try to stop the jerks. Just let the process continue. Don't try to put anything in this person's mouth. People are fond of putting spoons. Avoid the spoons and all the sticks and all that. You don't put anything in that mouth. Some people try to give them water. Don't give him any water. Some people even try to give them medication at that point. That medication will not work at that point because this guy is actively seizuring. Yeah, so after all that shaking, it takes about 3 to below 5 minutes. Most seizures will last below 5 minutes. So within that time, the seizure has stopped. Just check on this patient. Look if he is aware of where he is. You might ask the questions like, tuko wapi? Ni saa ngapi? Those will help you understand if he is alert.
WHO further states that 3/4 of people with epilepsy living in low-income countries do not get the treatment they need.
When you get to anything above 5 minutes, take this person to the nearest health facility possible. He will get help there. There are ways of managing emergencies in the near. Every facility has an emergency tray, and those can be handled at that point. The reason why you are doing this is now because now you are looking at the respiration now. It's past 5 minutes. So issues with oxygen concentration in the body have started coming up. So basically, to avoid such complications like death, when you time these seizures and they get past 5 minutes, or they are continuing repeating after every few minutes, you take him to the facility to avoid such complications of things like that.
It is estimated that up to 70% of people living with epilepsy could live seizure-free if properly diagnosed and treated.
Once a patient does not know that this is a disease, like any other disease, he won't come to the facility for medical help. They will go to either, most of them, the first thing a person thinks about when they hear about epilepsy is prayers. The second thing they think about is removal of demons from this guy. Some of them go to witchcraft. Some of them use the unorthodox ways of trying to treat epilepsy. Some of them even go to the extent of even using dog meat, trying to treat epilepsy. So with those misconceptions, people don't understand that it's a treatable disease. So once you don't know that it's a treatable disease, you will not come to the facility.
The bigger challenges they go is access to medications and access to proper diagnosis. And you might find them coming from the society or the community with very many myths about epilepsy. They'll come like it's witchcraft or something different than the medical condition itself. So the challenge is accessibility to medications, diagnosis, and follow-ups.
WHO pilot projects have indicated that training primary healthcare providers to diagnose and treat epilepsy can effectively reduce the epilepsy treatment